Have you ever thought about how actually deeply involved we are in the regulation and the impact of on the environment that we do have as a human race? Because looking back on what everyone else has said so far, there's a lot of incidences where we are helping and hurting the environment, and I know there's mixed feelings on that, but sometimes when nature fails to balance the ecosystem, we have to step in and help with the process. And there's a couple different methods that we can use to promote things like herd management, which is what I'm going to cover, like the reintroduction of species such as the gray wolf in Yellowstone Park and the removal of some members of the wild horse herd in the western U.S. This is a picture of a gray wolf. They're precious, and these are some wild horses out west. And the biggest thing is that in Yellowstone in the 1940s, the gray wolf was entirely removed from the ecosystem there. And when an ecosystem lacks a predator, the whole environment around it suffers, from the largest prey such as elk and bison, which is what the gray wolf preys on, all the way down to the plant life. Because when you take away a predator like the gray wolf, you're increasing the numbers in the bison and the elk herd of animals that are all eating the same exact resources, such as the trees and the grasses that are there. And when you have so many animals eating the same exact thing for so long, obviously those resources are going to be depleted greatly. Like I said, the National Park Service says that gray wolves mainly consume large prey such as elk and bison. And if you've ever seen a pack of wolves, I mean, it's really impressive to see them take down an animal that's this big and powerful. But then, like I said, the absence of the wolf led to the overpopulation of them, and there were so many that they were all using up the resources in the park. And then in the 1990s, the gray wolf was reintroduced to balance the ecosystem and to bring down the herd numbers. But instead of completely just balancing everything, the reintroduction of the wolf made the populations of the elk and the bison so healthy that they had to spread out into neighboring areas that had developments in them. And now on to the wild horses. The U.S. Department of the Interior's Bureau of Land Management reports that they gather wild horses each year to maintain the ecological health of our rangelands. Due to a continuous and extreme drought, it forces the BLM to perform fertility control on wild mares, which are female horses, through a DART vaccine, and remove members of the herd due to stress on the land by roundups. The American Wild Horse Preservation reports that over 35,000 people are protesting the intervention on the wild horse populations. And in the documentary Unbranded, a vet argues that if the population isn't controlled, then the rangelands will go barren because they will use up all the resources there. Although the wolf reintroduction didn't go as completely planned and it didn't give us the result that we really wanted, it did produce a healthier environment. And the removal of horses, I mean, it's a perfect example of not judging a book by its cover, because if you want to save the horses, you do have to remove some of them to ensure their future is a good one. And now Danielle will go into conservation.